it's germy. I mean, they need to clean up more. I don't want that coronavirus or nothing getting on me. Push me faster. Please, baby, push me faster. You know, I brought my own equipment to clean and stuff with. You know how it is in here. You know what I mean? I even got my own stuff, you know, spraying my cleaner and everything like that. You know how dirty and stuff it is in here. You know, so come on, I want to hurry up and get in my seat. I want to watch that show. You know that my favorite show. You know that dialysis reality show on Urban Health Outreach Media Facebook page. You know what I'm trying to say, baby, huh? You know what I'm trying to say. So hurry up and get me in my chair so I can talk to my girl, listen to my girl, and see what she got to say on the Lisa Baxter Show, because this is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 in a kidney world. Yes. How you guys doing? It is so fantabulous to see all of you out there supporting the network, supporting me, and supporting yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to say congratulations or happy Armed Forces Day was yesterday for the people in Armed Forces. And I want to thank you and tell you to keep us in prayer. I lost 2 cousins last week, so keep my family in prayer, please, pretty much, for my Kathy, my cousin Kathy, and my cousin Kathy, and oh God, I don't even know why I can't think of her name right now, but it was painful and it hurt and it cried, and maybe because I'm sweating, I'm always a little jumpy when it comes to the show. But anyway, I thank you very much for every one of your prayers for my whole family. Now, I want to get into the show, okay? And we have a excellent show next, in the next hour with Mr. Belcher. So we're going to ride you right in and cruise you in right now. And I want to introduce my guest. My guest is the founder, right, of the Flying 360. She's a special ed teacher. She's been honored. She's been recognized, right, for her outstanding work in the community. She's been honored by senators. She's a trailblazer. She's self-published. Oh, man, she's gotten awards. She is excellent, marvelous, and great. This lady is an advocate and a helper of domestic violence, people that been violently attacked, and even the ones that survived it, who've gotten past it. So she's a helper and a blesser with these type of things, and I want her to be able to tell her story to you on tonight. I'm going to introduce her. Her name is Natasha Carter. Come on, Natasha. Welcome to the Lisa. Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What an introduction.
Oh, listen to you. You know, it's longer than that. I shortened it, but I'm telling you all of that, and you work every ounce of it. You hear me? Every ounce, every pound of it. You
Thank
hear me?
you. Yes, ma'am, I hear you.
You welcome. No, you are very welcome. I wanted, when I first met you and you gave me your card and we had a talk and everything, I had to have you on the show because I know not just warriors, but any person out there, men and women, can be, you know, subject to domestic violence or at
Absolutely.
any hand. So I wanted to be able to get you on the show and help in that type of way. So, you know, we always want to be kidney correct and we want to be resourceful correct. I bet about that. Okay, how about that? All
Yes.
right. We're gonna start off with Tell me about. We're gonna start off with your teaching position. Tell me a little
Okay.
bit about your teaching position, sweetie.
All right. So I'm a seventh grade self-contained math teacher. So basically, what that means is that I teach math in a special ed, special class setting, a 12 to 1 or a 12 to 1 setting, where there is either 12 students, that's the max, and one teacher, or 12 students, one teacher, and a paraprofessional. So that's what I do this year. I'm teaching special ed to my babies.
Wow, wow. Well, you sound like you love it, and that's your thing to do. You know, anything challenging or hard about that? Would you say?
Oh, absolutely. The job itself is always changing. So that in itself is hard because there's so many platforms that come down the pipeline that we need to try. And what makes it hard is that when you try these platforms, considering that I do have a population of special needs students, it's hard to get them in a rhythm. So that would be definitely a trying situation. Another one that would be pressing is that a lot of the students, because I do work in an area that was actually acknowledged in a paper as being one of the 7 neighborhoods that have like the highest inmate population in New
Mm,
York. So
yes.
that, when you have special needs in the neighborhood in which I teach, that alone comes with the gamut of personal trials for them to conquer. But they're resilient, so they do well.
Wow, wow. Well, you sound like you love them. You must be proud of them, and I'm glad you're teaching them because sometimes, some jobs can be thankless, and some
Mm.
jobs uh, is very rewarding, especially in the heart. Doing anything with kids and children. I deal with families and small children. I'm a social worker with that. But when you are a teacher, I've been a tutor, but when you are a teacher and you teach people and children, especially, the parents are proud, they're happy, you help them. You know what I mean? It takes all of us to help them anyway and help raise
It,
them
it
and
really
guide
does.
them. So thank you
Hmm.
for your contribution of teaching and teaching in a difficult area that you're thriving at.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I give all honor to God because it was
Amen.
God's way. God wanted this path for me. I didn't choose it. God chose it
Wow.
for me.
Mhm. Oh, I know when he make them choices, they work out better when it's his choice and not ours. So I ain't mad at you.
That's the truth because He has a way of protecting it even more. So, yes, that's true.
Amen. Amen. Wow. Mm. So okay, now you you've been honored and you have gotten awards and you've been recognized and all of these great wonderful things and in your community. How did you get involved in your community or doing any type of work in your community before I jump into your non-profit business?
Well, the grassroots, I think it was innate. So I pretty much had it in me. I remember coming back home from college, undergrad. I went to Bennett College in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I remember coming home and seeing a lot
Mm,
of changes just in the neighborhood. And then I decided to start a block association. So that kind of open my eyes to actually helping the community in that way, even though because a lot of the times with historical black colleges and universities, what they
mm,
do is they have us um volunteer a lot. In order to get our degree, we have to volunteer. And I think that kind of sparked my interest with helping the people. But what really helped me out in the community, in the Queens community especially, and somewhat in Brooklyn as well, is that I started working with a organization called the King of Kings Foundation under
wow.
Lance Furtado and Todd Furtado, and from there, me being able to tell my story to the young youth as well as women, that kind of really helped me to realize my vision and what I want for my life and how I was going to be able to help people further.
Wow. Wow. I love communities because we all got to live in communities. We all got to work in communities. And I figure you should be connected in some way or help in some way or give a contribution in some way. So I always believe in going to those community board meetings, the neighborhood meetings, and the neighborhood
Absolutely.
board meetings. I bring kidney awareness to those meetings as well as to colleges and schools and stuff. And I just find that it's important because a lot of things out there that people don't have no clue about and they live there.
Absolutely. It's right underneath their nose. And that's true what you just said. Just to expound on what you said is that, you know, um, bringing awareness is key. and going to the local your local like you said community boards, and going to even community affairs at the precinct, your local precinct, making yourself present, making yourself known to, to let people know, like, I'm not going anywhere, like, I'm really vested in my community as well as myself and the people around me. So,
Yes.
let's work together.
That's so true. That's so true. So before I jump in again, what is your story? You said you told your story out there. Let's hear a little bit about your story.
Well, my story is a little facet, but what I will say is that the story that I was able to share to the young youth is me starting early life, in my teens. Um, I was out there. Of course, I liked a certain type of men, and those certain type of men brought a lot of certain type of drama into my life. And from that, I found myself in a domestic violence situation, and it was one of those turning points in my life that, though I wasn't happy that I was going through it, I was happy to come out of it, but I was more
Amen.
so happy to recognize the patterns that led me to those, because oftentimes it's not just one relationship. When you don't get the help or you don't recognize the patterns, you go right back into those things that brought you to that turmoil, or to that point of where you wish you wasn't. So yeah, that's pretty much, and I had to go through it. And the way I got out wasn't, I recognized that one day I was just better. Then it was a process. It was a journey, and it took a lot of steps. It took therapy. I had to enroll, or had to ask for help outside of
Yes.
myself. And I asked God for guidance to have somebody in the earthly realm to help me identify those patterns, because I didn't understand what I was doing. You know, um, so yeah, that's part of
Wow.
it. Hmm.
Well, I love the fact that you shared with young people because there are date rapes out there. There's domestic violence even among the young. You know what I mean? Territorial acting. Possession and being possessive. So it's good that you would tell them that early because sometimes everybody had this thing. Well, not me, or it can't be me. Drugs or bad behavior or something like that. And it's beautiful if it's really not you or wasn't you or
Right.
ever. But the fact that you shared that with them, you wasn't afraid, but you wanted to save them some heartache or some issues, or God forbid even their life. That had from my
Absolutely.
yes. That caused me to do a skit about domestic violence, and I had did it, and it's on YouTube, and I have shared it with many places and foundations because of the power of it. You would never know the person getting ready for what they're getting ready for. You know what I mean? They think they're getting ready for a date when all the time they're getting ready for death or a casket because
Mm.
they didn't listen to a family member or see the signs that you talked about. So I appreciate that you learned the signs and you asked for godly help as well as earthly help to find the help. You recognize the signs and you did something about it. Then you had the nerve to start something about it. Girl, talk about that foundation. I ain't mad at you coming up in here. Yes.
I and just to piggyback off of what you said, absolutely. Yes, at first I was scared because when you're telling your story the way that I grew up, you didn't
Yeah.
share certain elements of your life to anyone. A lot of what you did was kept in the dark or behind closed doors, and especially me growing up in a single parent household where my grandmother actually raised me, and she was a God-fearing, she is a God-fearing woman still at her 90 years. And
Wow.
so a lot of it, you know was embarrassment at first to share my story, because I knew better. I grew up in the church, and I just knew that wasn't the way that God. And my story started out at the age of 14 with an older gentleman. and it didn't end. Like, I'm still on the journey, but it didn't end for me. Whereas I started having healthy relationships about maybe approximately 12 years later.
Okay.
So yes, and though you stop certain periods, you stop dating, but then
Hmm.
when you resume, if you don't get the help, when you get back into another relationship, it goes back, unfortunately, to those things that you never really rectified in your life. So yeah, that was an unfortunate situation.
Mm. I
But
had brother. Yeah, go ahead.
won't he do it?
All you do is right. That's God all up in there, right?
Amen to that.
My brothers always protected me, with dating and stuff like that, my family and stuff like that. But you do run into rough people because I've had
Mhm.
people try to push you around on a date or tell you off on anything because they notice that you're soft or you're shy or you quiet.
Mhm.
I think this is the most I ever talked, but I talk. I told talk, but certain things make you quiet or shy. And I know rough stuff make you quiet and shy. I've seen domestic violence up close in my family, so I know what it's. I've seen it and lived around.
Mm.
So I feel you. So what was the first thing that came into your head when you started your foundation?
The first thing that came into my head of when I started and of why I wanted to start was that there were a lot of women like me that were scared to actually ask for help, because even me wanting a therapist was kind of
Hmm.
like a shameful thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's again, growing up in that type of atmosphere, you don't ask for therapy, you ask for God, and God is the end all be all, and therefore, you know what I'm saying. But then I had to realize that God do send people in your life to help you out, and you don't have to do it alone. And so
Yes.
that's the reason why I started my organization, because I knew that there were a lot of women like me that, though I was going through a domestic violence situation, a lot of people would not probably have thought that, because I did good in school, I had degrees, I had good jobs, I always worked, for some type of reputable organization, whether it be the state, the city, federal, you know what I mean? So I had
Yeah.
it going on in that way. And then, if I went outside, you thought that she had it all together. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
I was broken inside, and I was hurting inside, and nobody understood my pain, because it was just like, basically, you so strong, you so smart, you so beautiful, like, just do
Mhm.
it. And I didn't know
Yes.
how to just do. So I wanted to help other women to recognize that they are not alone, and there are certain steps that you need to take in order to be stronger within self.
Yeah. You do everything you can to help. I'm glad for your organization because I know of a young lady going through something now, and she's a dialysis patient that went through this. I don't know if you know about dialysis, transplant, or kidney failure. My
I
show
am.
basically is centered around that. Excuse me?
No, I am.
Hmm?
I had a cousin of mine who passed away 2 years ago of sickle cell anemia, and from that disease, his kidney started to fail, and he needed dialysis and things like that.
Wow, wow. Did you learn something from that?
Well, I learned a lot. One is, again, don't be scared to ask for help, because he was scared as well. And it wasn't until he started seeing water, his legs and everything was so heavy and hard,
Filling
from
up.
all of the water buildup from his kidneys failing. And also, I learned that you really do have to listen to your doctor.
Oh yeah.
Definitely have to pray, but you definitely have to listen to your doctor. And if
You
they
ain't
if
never.
they recommend, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said you ain't never lied. You better listen to your doctor. You have to. You got to pray along and listen to the doctor.
Hello. And
Mm,
so I saw that, because I think with men, especially Southern men, that I think I don't know, they a part of them feel like they know better than what the doctor, is saying. And so at the end of his life, Um, he was like, that's one thing he did say. You know,
Mm.
he wish he would have listened to the doctor sooner, and he wish he would have went on dialysis sooner.
Wow. Wow. See,
Mhm.
that's why. There's a lot of people don't give it a chance. A lot of people are scared of what
Mhm.
they, and then sometimes you try to tell them something and they just give a deaf ear. And then sometimes
Mhm.
they're too late. I had a lot of people tell me that still living, but they said, "Boy, if I'd have listened to you a year ago, a month ago, or when you first, I could have been saved for a lot of things." I don't want to be right. I just want you to be healthy. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
You know, wow, wow. Well, I'm glad you was able to take that away with you and from the table. How do you get funding for your organization, if you don't mind
Well, no,
mentioning?
I
If you,
don't. I don't. I get public and private funding. Because I give a lot of not a lot, but well, I do. I do give a lot. And because I do give a lot, especially to domestic violence shelter, I have a partnership with a private domestic violence organization. They have
excellent.
given me the funding that I need to actually spearhold these events. Like if I need any vision boards, because I do a lot of vision board, and we do a lot of partying in my events. So I've been fortunate enough for people to actually give me funding in that way.
Hmm. Can you tell us your website and your website? Your website uh uh or something. Are you allowed to say that? Because I know sometimes I know when one place I went to, they couldn't say the address or give too much information because the person was hiding there, and so everything is confidential. So I don't know how far or what you can say because I know you help afterwards. But
I
you
do.
have a number that anybody can call. Can you say it so we can either put it up on the screen or I'll add it when the show is over when I go into the comments section?
Absolutely. My website is www.flying3, so that's FLYING, the number 3, and then 60, SIXTYNAX.com. So that's flying 360 Nax. So the NAX comes from my initial, my son's initial, as well as my daughter's initial, because this is something I want to pass, down to them
Hmm.
eventually, of course. So yes,
Yes.
it's .com or .org is interchangeable.
Wow, wow. How is your company or foundation have helped women so far, you'd say?
How, meaning in detail or in
I mean
general?
something anything you want to put out there that's something that you did or something you happy about, proud of, or somebody was glad you did it. I know starting this is definitely a big plus. Giant gold star. But I mean, is there any success stories or something you
Oh,
favorable about that you could say that you did? I don't know if you fed the homeless or whatever it was.
oh yeah,
Anything
I
that you did for
definitely.
women.
Oh yes, definitely. I do that. I have partnerships with other people and organization and in the community. But as far as me and the personal things that I do, one success story would be I found a young lady found me at an event that I did. My kids were with me, and she had her son with her as well. And she just came over to the table to ask me about, and I gave her some information and everything else like that, some marketing material. So then she started telling me, she was like, I want to talk to you, but just hear my story before I get to have so much anxiety. So long story short, the young lady was scared to go to court for custody of her son. She was scared because she knew that there were some things that she did in her life that she wasn't too proud of, and that she felt like the father could hold over her head. Now, look, I went to court and I got custody of both of my kids, and I understood exactly how she felt. And it's little things that keep us from really following through with almost anything. Something that you're like, listen, if he brings that up, there's some things that you can do or say. But long story
Yeah.
short, I was able to not only help her from the beginning of even starting a petition, but I also was there and I was able to also give her services from people that I knew that helped me along the way as well. So
Mm.
I saw this young lady just recently at Shopping Stop, and she, though we supposed to be doing the social distancing, she came up to me and gave me a big hug, and then we did the little side cheek, and then her son gave me a little fist bump. So it's things like that I'm proud of. Things that I don't even really talk about. People probably don't even know that part of me. They see me do certain events, but there's a lot of things that I do in the back that to help these women because it's a scary situation, not only for them but sometimes for me. So
Sure, sure. Now that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's nice knowing that you sometimes you don't think you're doing much or anything, and that one little person tells you something, and it like makes everything comes into focus. Why you doing it?
mhm.
It brings you back to the dream why you created it in the first place. And I love that kind of thing. You know what I mean? You know, immigration is one of the things that have people had held over their head with domestic violence. And I've known even when a person is sick and scared nobody else to take care of them, they'll stay. I've known patients and
Absolutely.
patients and other people as well. If you could tell anybody about trying to get started something like this, what would you say to them before I start to end the show?
Okay. Um, First I would say partner with people that's doing certain things in the community. See what they do, see how they do it. Come into contact with those people and then so you won't be alone because when I started it on my own. I had a board, but it was me doing all of the legwork. Also
Tell
just have a vision, have a vision and mission, and it could change, but you might your vision or your mission could just be, I want to help domestic violence women, and you might not know exactly how in that way, but partner up with certain organizations that have that. And then what I will also say is get with your local politicians, because a lot of the politicians local, especially the councilmen, they offer free services, lawyer services, and with those free lawyer services, they can help you start your 501(c)(3). They can tell you exactly which paperwork you need to send to the state and how to do it. Because I know I did that. When I first started, they can't walk you through everything, but for the most part, if you hound them, they'll walk you through everything.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Queens and Brooklyn have programs like that too. That they have to they help people that's the startup business, and sometimes they do just the ones just for women. But then they have anybody that want to start a business or try or do something for the community. Now,
Yeah.
if you could, did we miss anything before I allow you to give your shout out to whoever you want to give that beautiful, wonderful shout out to?
Um, did you miss anything? No, but I would keep you informed because there are some events that's coming up virtually as well. Some
Oh,
vision board
yeah.
parties, and you would definitely be invited. But
Uh-huh.
as far as the shout outs, I want to give you a shout out. I want to give you a shout out because for one, I didn't know what to expect, because when you're interviewing with people you don't know, but that motherly instinct in you just made me calm. And because of that, this was extremely the easiest interview I ever did. And it was so authentic. So I want to say thank you for being you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. You gonna choke me up. uh, I thank you for coming on the show. I thank you for what you do and what you do, and I know you're going to continue to do. But if you do know any events, please feel free. And if I'm able to say any of them, when you do tell me, if you don't know today, then I'll be able to say some of it or about it or post it, on my page or something like that. But
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
doing what you're doing. The women out there need you. We all need you. And I'm sure I heard of some men that's been beat up too. Nobody think about them sometimes, even though it's like impossible sometimes because they're strong. But you'd be surprised who get beat up and jacked up or hurt. So I'm just glad that you got a service that heals those hurting people. So thank you very
Definitely, for sure. And thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a beautiful night. Tell your kids thank you because they was angels and sweet, and I ain't mad at them. Okay, so tell them at least says thank you. Tell them I'm the art from the heart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It probably is that, but from our
Yes.
friendship. But thank you again, and bless your life. Keep doing what you're doing and get some rest. And thank you once again. Have an excellent, fantabulous night.
Good
And my
night. Thank you.
good night. My cousin's name was Jean. I finally remember. Maybe the pressure from the show has nailed it down, so I got my mind straight. That was a mistake from the head and not the heart. So I thank you again for tuning in. See you next week. It's going to be a fantabulous show with a nurse practitioner, doctor. All right, so it'll be posted for you. So be blessed, be well, be excellent, and show up for the show at 9:05 with Mr. Nurse, the nurse of nurses, Mr. Steve Belcher, the producer. All right, our boss. All right, God bless and thank you. Peace. Y'all ready for this? Yeah. This is the Lisa Baxter Show, giving you the 411 and the kidney one. My girl.